Hey guys, today I would like to show you how to make spooky underscores using strings. I've had the pleasure of doing some underscores for some scary stories, and it's a different world to writing trailers, writing in trailer music, even writing film scores to an extent. This stuff is minimal underscore, but it has to feel spooky. So this is somebody reading a scary true story, and the music needs to sit under there and underpin this story. Not take over, not drive it forward, not do those things that traditionally I would be showing you how to do that, but this needs to give you the feeling of unease with very little going on musically. And that's what we're going to be doing. I've got 3 things loaded up: some violin harmonics, some violin pizzicatos, and some violin and some string sustains. That's it. The aim here is to create kind of like a minute to 2 minute long loop that can go underneath this. I might add some more sounds, but as it is, this is what we've got. The thing on my agenda is to give us the first part of the bed, okay? As you know, I'm a huge fan of working quickly and uncritically. I guess that's the word you'd use. So rather than sitting there and holding it down, which I used to do, I used to sit there and be like, yeah, I'm rocking this. This is awesome. We could just say force legato. There we go. Job done. Okay, we're going to keep it in C because I love C. And I'm going to bounce it out. Straightforward. This is the underbed, basically, the belly of the beast. Well, not maybe the belly, maybe more like the shimmering soul of the beast. Sweet. Yep, okay, I'm happy. Done. No, it would be fun if it was that quick. It's not, to be fair, it's not that far off, because this stuff needs to feel minimal without feeling too like busy, you know. And we could chuck in sort of the kind of cliched effects, but I want to show you how to do this spooky stuff really easy and really quickly. So next step is we want to have something that jars against what we've got now. So I'm going to use the same harmonic thing, the violin harmonics, 100% mix, and I'm just going to shift up a few cents. Let's see. Nice. Yes. Bounce in place. Off. There we go. So this is the kind of like jarring element here. This can't be anything else. It can't be like hugely in your face. So I walked in the room and the lights were off. And I felt somebody tapping on my shoulder. That type of stuff, you know. Let's go to pan. I'm just going to move this around the room. Or not literally around the room. Give it a little bit of movement just to kind of, again, make the listener feel a little bit uneasy without getting my risers out, which I'm very tempted to do. I love risers so much. Here we go. That's it. Right, now let's move this. It's going to be low sustains. We want it to be the bottom. I don't want the cellos. I mean, we could just do strings. Yeah, I get it. That's nice. That sounds nice, Rich. Well done. You know, you've got a drone. Well, you know, good job, sir. Thank you. But what we're going to do is we're going to smash it to pieces. We're going to use Decapitator, Dark Fat. Yes. We're also going to use Devil Lock. Now, do you know why I've done that? I'll tell you. The reason I've done this is because the distortion exaggerates things within the audio, and it exaggerates the movement of the bass. So all of a sudden, rather than just this static drone, it has movement, which is exactly what I want. Let's bounce this sucker up. Okay, it's not the violin's harmonic. It doesn't matter. No one cares. What matters is the output. And what we can do, again, automation. I'm going to use the volume automation here. We're just going to bring this up and down a little bit. Just again, give it this sense of movement, because we can't do much else. We can't bring in the risers. We could do, but it would need to be for a certain point of the story. My wife and I were driving home one night. It was dark. All of a sudden, the radio started playing country music, which is really bizarre because we were in the city. The streets were empty. All of the lights flicked off. I turned to my wife, and she had disappeared. And I woke up in a puddle of sweat. Okay, that was... I don't want to say premature because that's a terrible time to use that when he's waking up in a puddle of sweat. That is the idea here. It's this kind of... It's bringing the tension. Now, there's a couple of things I want to add in here. I want to add some reverb. Another quick win in this instance is giving different reverbs to different instruments. That one's going to have that one. This one I'm going to put into like a tiny little spring or something. Small spaces, spring reverb, small dark spring. And this bass, I could just leave it, but I don't want to. I want to give this, put it into an Abbey. Yes. Okay, cool. Now, the last thing I want to do is pizzicato. So traditionally, you can mix pizzicato in with col legno, which is when you bop the strings of your instrument with the wood of your bow. When I think of horror strings, I think of the X-Files, classic 90s TV there, and I think of this sound. Random, unnerving, descending stuff. But for me, it's even too much doing that. Because what that does is that's kind of like, let's give it an example. I don't know Scully. I think he's Hive. But Mulder, it can't be. He's my father. Actually, that works really nicely. You use that stuff as emphasis, as like introducing the creepy idea. Here, it's a bed. It needs to just kind of sit there and not really be noticed, but to supply some element of tension. So I'm going to do it. Now, what I did there was I did 4 phrases, 4 clumps. And I'm going to spread these out equally-ish. That seems all right to me. 4 clumps. Right, now, I want to add a little bit of delay there, because I want this to last a bit longer. I feel like it's just going a little bit too soon. Let's do half note swing. Perfect. Right, now, so when we use these kind of like tinklies, it's kind of like creepy spiders or the hairs on your neck standing on end. That's what you need to think of when you're doing this. And the other thing to think of is I'm going atonal with it, which means there's no tonal center to it. I'm not in C, although I've got a root of C with a little bit of microtonal movement going on. I'm not quite going full horror 12-tone row, but I am going atonal. Because the thing about this stuff is it needs to feel unsettling. Not hugely unsettling, but enough to feel like something's not quite right. If I was to take this any further, which I don't think I'm going to, use clusters. So I kind of did that a little bit with the microtonal bend in the pitch shifting at the moment. It's like I've got these C's with like a tiny little bend on them. But if I did this... Actually, that sounds really cool. I really like that. Okay, so clusters is like an extension of what I was doing with the pitch shifter. The pitch shifter was quite subtle, actually. Maybe a little too subtle. Maybe it just sounded almost like phasing. But with the clusters, kind of like Ligeti clusters. Now, clusters, for those of you who don't know, are loads of notes closely placed together into a cluster. So you're not necessarily thinking in terms of chords or chords, tonality of the chords. You're just thinking like, think 2001, you know. It's like kind of really easy horror stuff, to be fair. You have to use it subtly, which is what we're going to do here. I'm going to just record this in, and then I think I'm going to finish. So I've got a cluster here of A, B flat, B, C, D flat, D. And I'm using the mod wheel to bring it up and down. Mostly up, and now a little bit down. Okay, and I'm going to stop this in a second. Done. So let's quantize that. And copy and paste it and chuck it there. Okay, and move these a little bit so it doesn't start straight away. And there we go. I grew up in a house in the country with my mum and my dad. We moved in the summer of 1989. It was a bizarrely cold summer, and I had the bedroom upstairs in the loft. It always gave me the creeps when I was up there. I'd hear strange creaking and taps on the windows. I just used to think it was my imagination, really. Spooky! See you in the next one.